Esports fans, I'm your PUBG Esports guy, Annie, and I'm here with Paper Thin again for this PUBG Esports news show. Hello.
Hey guys, yeah, it's good to be back. We're really excited for PGC coming up here real soon, so we're gonna break it all down for you.
So PUBG Global Championship 2021 will start off in November 19th with ranked decision.
First, we start with a ranked decision to determine where the teams are gonna fall into the weekly survival, where they qualify for the weekly finals. You have to win games during the week to qualify for the weekly finals. And of course, there is going to be a bottom 16 for those teams that don't qualify for the weekly finals. So it really does feel a lot like a throwback to PGIS earlier this year.
Yeah, but most importantly, there is this grand final for PGC 2021. This is the part where it's different from PGIS. I'm very excited for that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Today in PUBG Esports News Show, we're going to talk about everything about PGC 2021, participating teams, 32 finest teams from all over the world, and things to watch for. So please stay tuned.
All right, so let's take a look at all of the teams that are going to be participating in PGC 2021.
Yeah, so we've always started with this region. Let's look through APAC first. I see some familiar names, but then there are some new names too.
Fury is going to be the team that everybody knows, Buriram United, but then you've got BN United and Archangel Predator, some new ones that are going to be coming in to keep your eyes on.
So next is Asia. We have 12 teams from here, 5 Korean teams, 5 Chinese teams, and 1 each from Japan and Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, again, a lot of familiar names are going to be here, a lot of teams from all the regions and players from all the regions that you're going to know, but some new faces, of course, as well. So this is a region, of course, that you have to be watching out for.
Next is Americas. Yeah, there are some teams that have performed well in PGIS, but I see some new teams, but then players are all familiar.
These are the superstars of Americas. Of course, you have the Sonics, the PGIS winners, but you have so many good teams in Americas now. It's actually pretty incredible.
Last but not least, Europe. Most of the teams seem familiar to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of the teams that we've come to expect to do well in PUBG Esports. They're very strong because they have players that have been around playing in PUBG Esports for some time.
Do you remember that we have interviewed 2 teams from PGC 2019 Top 4 last year in the PUBG Esports News?
Yeah, definitely. I remember some really good interviews coming out from all of these teams. I think Genji was very funny, and FaZe gave us a really interesting interview actually. So I'm really excited for these teams to be back here at PGC again. Because I think Genji, you still have the PO factor. He's still just one of the best players, if not the best player in the world. Anonix has been a phenomenal fit for this team. Esther's still here to kind of play the support role to keep PO in check. Asura has been a really good kind of flex player for them. They put up a lot of kills recently. They may not have done as well in the chicken dinner format as some other teams, but they are still a force to be reckoned with. FaZe just always seems to find magic, when it matters the most. They come up big in high-stress situations. We saw it in the last PGC. We saw it again this year to qualify for this event.
So let's see if these 2 teams can maintain their reputation in PGC 2021. And especially for Genji, let's see if they can win the back-to-back champion.
So there have been a lot of teams that have been doing really, really well across all of the regions. Some of the teams that we absolutely have to look out for.
So that has to be Sonics in America's region. Sonics is the champion of PGIS 2021, and they have won 3 PCS events in their region. This team has to be one of the best teams in the Americas region.
So the Sonics, they do everything that needs to be done to be successful in a format like PGC.
So I found out that Sonics won 8, 7, and 8 chicken dinner in each PCS 2, 3, and 4. They are very eligible for qualifying to weekly final.
You, of course, talk about Tiggleton first as maybe the best fragger in the world right now. He's good at everything he does. Shrimzy right behind him is also excellent, always up there in the top of the kills and things like that. Mime is no slouch himself, and then Huynh is leading the way as the shot caller. These guys are just absolutely stacked.
I think in Asia, that team should be Peril, Petrica Road. They've won all PCS Asia event in 2021.
And particularly, Akeslept was putting up some impressive plays in the scrims and in the event. It's not just Akeslept, it's other players like Mill, like Mings, who are really stepping up to the plate and having big numbers as well. Asia's a very competitive region, so when you look at their numbers, maybe compared to some of the other teams like Sonics, yeah, they don't put up as many kills or as many wins, but I think that's probably because between Korea and China in particular, it is a very competitive region.
There's another team that dominated their region. It's Virtus Pro from Europe. They've won PCS Charity Showdown and PCS 3 as Northern Lights, and won PCS 4 and 5 in a row as Virtus Pro.
Yeah, for me, this is kind of like Peril, where they're a dominant team in a very, very competitive region.
I think one of the best strengths of this team is that they know how to adapt to the different type of format very well.
It all comes back to Batulin and his ability to really get them prepared for whatever situation they're going to be in. Again, out of game, in game, he's always ready.
We have to talk about Buriram United Esports, the PCS 4 APAC winner. Imagine about the APAC teams, most of the fans would think of Buriram United Esports because they have shown such an aggressive play styles in PGIS, and a lot of fans love this team. How is this team doing in the current screens?
They look okay. The problem for Buriram is, for Buriram, a lot of contention on both Miramar and Erangel for their drop areas. And so a lot of it depends for Buriram on if they can secure their drop spots. If they can, I think they're going to find more and more success. But if they keep fighting for it, of course, that we've seen time and time again, that doesn't go well for teams.
So we just talked about the teams that is kind of obvious to say that they're the best teams of each region, but still there are a lot of teams that have good chance to compete in PGC 2021. What team would that be in America's region?
I think Oath definitely has to be the first team you're looking at. They won PCS 5 Americas, so clearly they're in good form right now. They brought Kickstart over to the team from the old Zenith squad that got second at PGIS. So this is a very, very powerful team, top to bottom.
So Oath is a very impressive team because they were one of the few teams that have made it to all weekly final in PGIS, but they didn't really end up in a high rank in PGIS.
They have another shot at it, and they're better now in my opinion. So I think really Oath has a really good shot to make a splash.
So in Asia, Chinese teams have won all the PCS events, which means that Chinese teams have been performing very well in Asia.
Yeah, I think the first team that comes to mind is MCG, the pinnacles of consistency. They don't put up big kill numbers, but they're always there in their placements. They get enough chicken dinners to keep themselves in it. They're a very talented team in terms of their rotating, and that all goes to Summer, who's a very smart veteran shot caller, another player who was at PGC 2019.
In Europe, there are so many familiar names. Which team should we watch for in Europe?
The two that stand out in my mind, first, Team Liquid. They're at every event ever. These guys are just so smart, so strong. But a second place at PCS 4, a ninth at 5, but quite a few kills. I'm really confident in this Team Liquid squad. I mean, Clib has been absolutely nuts for them. So this is a team definitely to watch out for. The other one I'm looking at is Na'Vi. Na'Vi is a really, really talented roster. They picked up the old Tornado Energy squad here. This team looks to be one of the top 3, top 4 teams at this event potentially. They're really strong in terms of their fragging power.
So in APAC, there are a lot of ups and downs for a lot of teams, but Fury was a team that have been playing so consistent in this region. And I think this team would have a chance to compete with other global teams.
They brought in Flood, a young player who's very, very, very talented as a fragger. And they have a lot of veterans on this team who've been doing it since back to the face of Global Summit, of course. These guys, look, they're very good on Erangel. They're not so good on Miramar. So for me, what I'm looking for Fury is some improvement on Miramar and then just a little bit more consistency. I think they have a really good chance of getting to the grand finals.
But you can see that out of 32 teams, there are a lot of unfamiliar new teams coming out. So we want to introduce some rookie teams from now on.
I think the first one I'm going to mention is Danawa. Danawa Esports is a Korean team that has really exploded onto the scene this year after making a couple key acquisitions. Been absolutely lights out in Korea and at PCS. So this team, definitely got to watch out for them. They got third at PCS 5. I'm really excited about them.
And there's this Chinese team, New Happy, who have won the PCL summer season.
This team is really scary. They started to pick up steam during PCS 5, started out a little slow, but this has kind of been their MO. So watch for this team to maybe not do so good in the beginning, and then as the tournament goes on, get better and better and better. The guy to watch out for, Ming, one of the best players in China, period. He always puts up huge kill numbers, so this is a guy who will absolutely be someone that you are going to have your eyes on during PGC 2021. So for Europe, I want to take a quick look at Heroic coming in here, but they've had a very up and down season for the last couple years here. So this is a team that has very high highs, but also very low lows. And the real question for me is which version of them are we going to see here at PGC?
Also, we have BN United in APAC, also a very hot rookie team. They've won the PCS 5 APAC.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see what happened in APAC as the Vietnamese teams really stepped up during 2021. Last year it was all about the Thai teams and Fury, and now we have a whole new region stepping up to the plate. They look great, they're consistent, they found chicken dinners very, I don't want to say comfortably, but they do a good job navigating the other teams in the map.
So in America's region, I want to ask about KPI Gaming. I remember that Siljan was playing so well in PGIS, so I'm kind of expecting this team. So coming back to point rule, kill points are still very important in stacking up points. And this time in PGC 2021, we will be giving prize to the individual kill leader players. So finding out which players would end up with the highest kill points will be one of the things to watch for in PGC 2021. Which players would be the candidates?
First one's got to be Tiggleton, right? I mean, the top fragger in both PCS 4 and 5, right? He put up 87 kills in PCS 4 and 74 kills in PCS 5. That's really good. Next up, Navi's example in EU. Again, another player that dominated both PCSs this year in his region. He put up 72 kills in 4 and 55 kills in PCS 5. So these guys are definitely the two standouts for me. Then you start to look at some of the players like that we all know and love. PO, Axlef, anybody on Buriram United, I feel like has a real chance to be up there. It's going to be up to kind of that final weekend where we find out who's going to put up that prize.
So as always, we're having a Pick'em challenge, so don't forget to check in-game esports tab and participate in Pick'em challenge to gather the esports point and get the PGC exclusive items.
Very exciting. And guys, make sure you tune in. We start November 19th.
So stay tuned for 5 weeks of PGC 2021 and find out which teams were going to be the final champion of PUBG Esports 2021. We're going to be back again once more in PGC 2021, so be ready for us. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye-bye.